What's up, my pilots? angryponcho here. We're back playing Beat the Beast. I forgot the name of the game for a split second there. I have drilled another floor on the bottom here. It's just a smaller height one. The last one was fairly tall because I knew I would need to fit all kinds of machinery and piping and stuff in there. This one's only floor high because it's going to be sort of a test zone. Because in this episode, I would like to start working with the computer craft mod. I need to get myself a crafting bench for this floor. Go ahead and bring one down with me. I'm also probably going to want to bring a chest, just so we have these sorts of things around. So computer craft is a pretty cool mod. I've not done anything with it before at all, but I was sort of turned on to the idea when I saw a great turtle tutorial, and I'll talk about what turtles are soon. It was by this YouTuber named Seleck. There's a link to his channel. It's the first thing down in the description. You should definitely check out his channel. He's got like 500 subs right now, so he's sort of like rising through the ranks, and he's making some really high quality Feed the Beast videos. I highly recommend you check out his Feed the Beast series if you're interested in that sort of thing, which I guess you are since you're watching this Feed the Beast video. He also did a good adventure map series that he's still working on. So yeah, definitely check him out. He's got some great content. But this is not a shout-out video. I just wanted to mention that's where I got the idea for Computer Craft Turtles from his turtle tutorial video. So Computer Craft lets you make a whole bunch of interesting things, and not the least of which is computers. So I guess we'll start with that. So I've already got some stuff that we're going to need in my inventory here. Just glass panes, redstone paper, and some smooth stone. So to make a computer, you put... I'll go ahead and make two because we're going to need two. To make a computer, you put stone like this, and then glass in the front, and redstone in the middle. It's surprisingly cheap because this mod doesn't try to interface with industrial craft or buildcraft or any of the others. So it doesn't have like titanium or like an aluminum or a circuit board or whatever in the middle of it. It's just redstone. So that's it. Glass panes, redstone, and smooth stone, and that makes computers. So I guess I'll just, I want to try and make this like somewhat central here. So I think I'm actually going to put the computer here, and then I'm going to move these out of the way. But so there's other things that we're going to want to make as well. Let me just stick these in the middle of the room. Just put them anywhere really. They just need to be here but not in the way. Okay, so that's a computer, and that's all you need to do. So I think you right click. Yeah, and it starts right up. So this is the Craft OS. It's basically simple, really simple OS. And I don't even know... Yeah, okay. Whew. So basically, this whole computer... Can I... Wow, okay, yeah, it's running like a really basic Unix system. How do I exit? Escape? Yeah. So now it's on, and you can see it blinking. But before I get too involved in this, let me say that these computers can do a variety of things. Not the least of which is turn on and off redstone signals. But more impressive than a computer is a turtle, which is basically a mobile computer that can do things. And its turtles are basically able to interact with the world pretty much as well as you can. There are a few things that you can do that turtles cannot do, but not very many. So let's make a turtle. To make a turtle, you need a computer, 7 iron, and a chest. It's a pretty simple recipe. Again, it's cheap. That's one of the things I like about Computer Craft, is that this is actually an early, sort of an early game mod. So I really wish I'd started on this sooner, because these turtles are so cool. We could have used these for quarrying, but I didn't realize it until I saw Seleck's video. So here it is, the orientation, the recipe. It's pretty easy. 7 iron, a computer, and a chest makes a turtle. Now turtles, they're basically like little mobile computers. There's this little dude here. I don't know, is he facing away from me? How do I pick him up? Yeah, I pick him up with the... I want to get a good look at all his sides. I guess this is his front right here. I think you'd probably need a tool to pick him up. And he's got a little interface on the back here, I guess. I'm just trying to move around, hitting keys here. Yeah, so turtles are basically little mobile computers, and you can program them to do stuff. So they run, the OS they operate runs, it's basically a Unix system. It's like that Jurassic Park scene. It's a Unix system, I know this. But I don't really know what the heck I'm doing here. So I think I'm just gonna But basically, what you can do with these is you can write programs. and you can write programs for them to do all sorts of things, and you can make turtles of many varieties. So I'm going to make, I think you can use, I don't know if you can use anything other than diamond tools for this, but I'm going to try it. You can make turtles that do all sorts of different things. So I'm going to make a turtle that mines ore, and then I'm going to write a little program to try and get him to do it. So we'll see if I can get it to work. I'm not, like I said, I've never done this before, so I'm not at all practiced in it. I need to pick him up. I'm going to make a pickaxe, and I'll see if I can turn this turtle into, yes, a mining turtle. So you take a regular turtle with a pickaxe, and it becomes a mining turtle. So now he's a little miner. And I guess we should name him. That's the first thing you're supposed to do when you get a new turtle, is you're supposed to give them a name. So I think that is label set, and then I need to give a little turtle here a name. I guess I'll call him T1, like a Terminator almost. Computer label set to T1. Okay, great. So now anything that we do in this turtle will be saved. You have to give your turtle a name in order for them to remember anything you tell them, and to store all the programs you might write. So you just do label set, and then you type the name. So it has to be one word. You can't have spaces in it. So T1, I'll call him that. And then you can write programs by typing edit, and then give it a name. So let's call it sprint. Now I'm going to write a program that just goes forward, just to run forward. So I'm not going to explain the code here because it's the Lua scripting language. It's a really easy computer science. It's a really easy language basically. Computer science students, it's like, oh, I can write Lua. Yeah, that's cool. Scripting languages tend to be that way, but I'm not going to try and get too much into the code here unless you guys are really interested in that. So leave a comment if you want to hear about it. But otherwise, I'm just going to kind of write it and then explain what it does. So in fact, a lot of it will probably be off screen. I'm not going to make you guys watch me write code. It can be a bit boring. But I'm just going to do. I'm going to see if I can get this figured out. I'm going to guess at the syntax. So I think it's turtle.forward is the command to move forward. Can I? There we go. And then how do I save? Oh, I hit escape. How do I press control to access menu? Oh, save, exit, print. Save. Save to sprint. Exit. Okay, so now we're back at the command line. So if I type sprint, the name of the program, he should execute. Oh, I forgot that. Okay, so that's the syntax requires a do there. Okay, that's fine. Simple enough. See, syntax errors and stuff. That's not too common. Save, exit. Okay, so now when I type sprint, it should execute the program. Maybe. I don't know if it's... Is it working? I thought it was turtle.forward. Oh no, did I forget? What am I doing wrong? I'm a derp. I'm a herper derp 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 derp. You have to give them fuel. They don't just run on magic. All right, although they could and feed the beast. Herper derp. Give me some coal. Actually, you know what? Can they run on coal coke? They probably can't run on coal coke. I'll get some coal. Yeah, so they have to be fueled in order to move around. So the program was fine. I just forgot to feed him. And I'll sleep to make sure it's not after midnight. Okay, it's now safe to feed the turtle. Come down here. So this is his inventory down here. So I'm just gonna give him some coal, and then he's still trying to sprint. So let me just tell him to stop, and then put some coal in there, and we tell him to refuel. So he'll consume a piece of coal. All right, cool. So now when I tell him to sprint, he'll just run until he runs out of fuel. There he goes. Look at him. He's running away. Amazing. I think he's probably gonna hit the wall and get stuck. Bonk. Oh, right in the face. I'm sorry, man. Sorry, T1. That looked like an ignominious end. Are you still sprinting? No, you've stopped. So when you pick them up, apparently that stops whatever they're doing. Okay, well let's do something a little smarter, and let's make it so that T1 will actually only he'll dig if there's something in the way. We gave him a pickaxe for a reason, right? So let's just have him try to... Oh my goodness, this little interface. We're going to have to upgrade to better computers soon. Okay, so if you do turtle.dig, and it's a mining turtle, then they will. Whoops! I should not have done that. It's control. I'm used to it being escape. All right, go, buddy, go. You can do it. All right. So now when little T1 over here gets to, he's trying to dig, but there's nothing in front of him. So all that program does is he tries to dig and then he tries to go forward, and there's nothing to dig yet, so he's not digging. But here he'll probably look at him. He's digging a little tunnel. Look at him go. Oh my gosh. They grow up so fast. Oh, come back. Wait, T1, wait for me, buddy. Oh, there he goes. Oh no. Okay, I'm going to go collect him. T1, come back. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have spoke to you that way. I didn't mean to cause a segmentation fault. Really, honestly, buddy. Oh, you're out of fuel, aren't you? Haha, I knew you'd come crying. Oh, look at that. He's got, like, engines or something down here. They can totally fly, apparently. It looks like he can just float around. He doesn't seem to be need to be near anything in order to be. Okay. Oh, yeah, look, he picked up stuff, too. If I had opened up his inventory instead of picking him up, we would have seen that he had some marble and some cobblestone in his inventory that he picked up while he was mining. So that's pretty cool. Whoops. Get up there now. So these turtles are sort of endlessly programmable. You can give them swords, hoes, axes, pickaxes. I don't think you can give them tree taps, unfortunately, because I was going to have T1 actually be a turtle that could use tree taps for a rubber farm. But there are other ways to do that. So I think I'm going to write a little program here, and then I'll show you guys another example of something else that turtles can do. I'm going to write a program to make him dance. All right, I don't know where this is coming from, but I feel this striking urge to call my turtle Joe. He's now Joe. Hey Joe. Okay, I believe I've fixed Joe. I told him how to dance. So Joe, it's hammer time. Go, buddy. You can do it. That's not exactly what I wanted, but it's still pretty cool. Look at him. Look at him pirouette. He's such a beautiful turtle. How do I get him to stop? Control C, perhaps? No. None of the usual. Oh, Control X. I knew some kind of override command would tell him to be quiet. So let me show you what that is. This is just make him go forward and then turn right. I don't get why he's not going forward. Because it says, so this loop says so count from 1 to 40, and while you're doing that, keep turning to the right. And I'm a little confused because it seems like he should be going forward and then turning right. What? I don't know why he's not. That's a little bit strange. Yes, he seems to just not go forward. He seems to just like turning right a lot. I don't know. Joe is a finicky turtle. I think turning right is something he enjoys. It's just it's almost a pastime of his. So we'll see if after 10 turns he stops. Look at that. Look at Joe go. Look at Joe go. He's an industrious little guy. Okay, so they can't actually program to do useful stuff. For example, in Seleck's video, he programs a turtle to dig a mine shaft for him. It digs a shaft that's 3 blocks high and then however many blocks deep that he asks for. It digs all the way down and collects all the stuff along the way, and then it places torches on the way back and waits at the entrance for its goods to be collected and stuff like that. And then you can send it off on another little adventure. So I have other plans in mind for my turtles. I would like to make a turtle tree farm, and I'd like it to be a rubber tree farm. But the thing is, so Seleck actually has another video in which he got some code from a friend of his and made a tutorial on a tree farming turtle. But I would like to first figure out how to get rubber from rubber trees directly. It's this wood. And then I'm going to try and make a program that that Joe can run to actually get us rubber indefinitely by collecting and harvesting rubber trees, because they do seem to drop enough saplings for it to be worth it. I was very confused as to why my extractors weren't there. So is it extractors that you can use? Alright, so a piece of rubber wood from the dark rubber wood trees that are out in the swamp out there. How many rubber does that give us? Just one. Wow, that's kind of lame. When you get the sticky resin out of these, you get... Can you smelt it for sticky resin? And then put it in the extractor? Oh no. What? It became jungle wood? Huh? I'm sorry, that doesn't even make sense. That is... What? You heat up the rubber wood and it becomes another kind of wood? I guess this is an electric furnace. Maybe a normal furnace would have a different effect? I don't know if that's even a thing. That's really weird. I'm going to try it, just because that was a strange outcome there. Let me try doing this with a regular furnace. Because that was weird. One burning wood in a furnace and it becomes a different kind of wood? What is this sort of transmogrification nonsense? Yes, you cook it and it becomes jungle wood. That's actually a good thing, because I have I have one piece of, it's not cookie dough, what is it, cocoa beans. And I've been waiting to find a jungle so that I can grow some of this stuff, but apparently if I can turn rubber wood into jungle wood, that'll work. So what is it that you get, how do you get the rubber, wait, let's see. I already did it, why am I asking questions? The extractor will get you one piece of rubber for each rubber wood. So basically, I want to write a program for Joe to run, where he will plant a rubber tree sapling, and then apply bone meal to it, and then dig away the entire tree, and then, you know, basically collect the wood. Come put the wood in a chest, just for me, or maybe even like put the wood right into an extractor, or maybe into a chest that pumps into an extractor. That would probably be the easiest way to do it. And then that extractor automatically pumps the rubber into the sorting system, and it shows up in our barrel. So Joe doesn't need to worry about that. He just deals with the tree. Alrighty then. I think I was actually getting a little bit ahead of myself trying to do that program in this video. So I think instead I'm going to finish out the video, do a few simple programs to show you guys some of the capabilities of mining turtles. Because I said they can pretty much do whatever you can, but I haven't demonstrated it yet. So let me show you. So firstly, they move around pretty good. So I've written some programs here. And the first one is hammer time. Now all this does is he's just going to move around in a circle, and that's his little dance. And he needs to have fuel in him, so he's actually been refueled recently. So Joe will just dance until either he runs out of fuel and hangs, or he'll dance until he's gone 10 full circles. And it's not too complicated to get a turtle to do that. He's almost done, I think. So you can see they can turn left, and that turns them a quarter turn, or they can turn right, that turns them a quarter turn. They can move forward, back, up, and down. They cannot strafe left and right. You have to turn if you want to go to the right. Alright, so there he goes. He just did his little dance. Let me get him some fuel. Whenever I type U into one of these things, it's me trying to exit and then go somewhere else by walking forward. But I forget you can't escape out of a turtle's interface with the E key. You have to actually escape. Okay, so it turns out you can also refuel these guys. So if you type refuel, it tells you how much fuel they have, and it takes one piece of fuel. But if you hit refuel all, he'll take up all of his fuel and tell you how much he's got now. So he took up all the pieces of coal that were left there. So 600 fuel is enough for him to do the rest of our programs. So let me show you what hammer time looks like. It's a simple for loop. So the way you can use for loops with turtles is pretty easy. So when you write it out, you just write for, and then I equals 1, comma, and then the number of times you want the turtle to do it. So a loop is something that you use to make a turtle do the same thing many times, and 40 is just the number of times that I want him to do this dance. So this is 1 quarter turn, so if he does it 40 times, it's 10 full turns. And then you type do. That's just what you have to have for the syntax. And then the functions to make him move are turtle.forward and turtle.turnright. And you do have to get the capitalization just right for this to work. So that's pretty simple, but for for loops, all you need to know is that it's for I equals 1, comma, and then the number of times you want him to do it, and then do. So that's not too crazy. So let's do the next program. So that's other stuff that turtles can do, and one of the cool things is that they can interact with inventories. So I'm going to place Joe here in between 2 chests, and I'm going to fill the chest in front of him with something. It's full of cobble right now. It doesn't matter that they're full stacks. If they could be all over the place, it wouldn't be a big deal. And then Joe has the ability to interface with inventories. So I'm going to tell him to switch. These are programs I wrote. These are not built-in commands. I'm going to tell him to switch the chests. So what he's going to do is he's going to pick up stuff from this chest, one stack at a time, then he's going to turn around and put it in the chest behind him. And then he's going to turn around and get some more. And this is on a loop that stops when this chest is empty. So he'll go ahead and empty the whole chest. Now, this program could be smarter. It could also check to make sure this chest isn't full, but I'm assuming this is a chest that has things being pumped out of it, and so it won't become full. So here he goes. He's going one stack at a time, one inventory space, and when he sucks up that last one, he should turn around and stop, because he detects that this chest is empty. And you can see the empty command line saying, I'm done. What should I do next? And sure enough, here's all the stuff he just moved. So let's take a quick look at that program. Okay, I'm trying to write it in German. Edit switch chest. No. Switch chest. So this is not too complicated. So the first line, turtle.select. Select tells a turtle what space they should be looking at in their inventory. So the turtle's inventory is 16 spaces. This is 1, and then it goes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc., up to 16 in the bottom right-hand corner. So turtle.select1 tells him to put his inventory cursor over slot number 1. So anything he does with his inventory will now go in and out of slot 1. And then this loop is him checking for stuff, picking it up, turning around, dropping it off, and then turning around again. So a while loop happens while a condition is true, and the condition is turtle.suck. So while this turtle sucks, he does this loop. No, I'm just kidding. The suck command is to suck items out of an inventory. They could be laying on the ground in front of the turtle, or they could be in a chest in front of the turtle, or in anything else that has an accessible inventory. Which, other than chests, I can't immediately think. I think you can also use them to take stuff out of the product slot of furnaces and other machines. So you could use them to pick up like in a coke oven, you could use them to suck out the coal coke, but not the coal, since that's the input slot. Anyway, so while there's, and then this function returns false when he fails to get something out of the chest. That's why it stops when it's empty. So while there is stuff in the chest, do this, and then this loop is just pretty simple. He turns right twice, because there's no function to tell him to turn 180 degrees, so I just turn to the right and then turn to the right again, which has the result of turning all the way around to face behind you. And then he drops, turtle.drop. That will attempt to drop stuff into an inventory. And there should be an if statement around this just to say, oh, if the inventory is full, go ahead and stop the program. But I'm assuming it's not going to be full for now, just to keep it simple. And then once he's dropped the stuff, he turns around again, and the loop resumes. So he'll try and find some more stuff. And once it's empty, he finishes. So that's all there is to that. So I've got another cool thing turtles can do is they can interact with the command line. And so as an example, just to show how awesome these turtles are. I mean, you say jump, they say how high, and then I'll tell him a 3, please, and he'll go up to height 3 and then back down, and that's it. So I'll say jump, he says how high, and I'll say 15, and there he goes. And I don't know why apparently I need to have my number lock on. Hello, there he goes. There goes Joe up to height 15. And then back down. So yeah, turtles can fly, which is kind of cool. Although this is meant to just be him jumping up to height 15. Let me pick up this stuff, get it out of the way. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. You can start a program and then put information in at the command line, so you don't have to know in advance what it'll be. So let me show you how you do that. So we'll look at this program. It's pretty simple. So term.write is how you ask the user for something. It basically writes information to the screen. And then the next line, so you put in quotes inside the parentheses whatever you want to say. So here I have parenthesis, quote, how high, and then a space to make it more formatable, and then a close quote and a close paren. But all you see is the words, how high. None of the quotes or parens or anything like that print. And then this function, read, reads information from the screen, or from the keyboard. So when I type in 15 or 3, that goes into read, and it gets assigned to this variable I've created called height. Now, I guess this should be considered a local variable. That's no big deal there. Syntax is fairly flexible in this language. So this variable is essentially a name for a value. It's a word we use to refer to some information that the program has stored. In this case, it's stored information that it got from the keyboard that when I typed it in, hit enter. And that information is how high I want it to jump. So I'm using it in my for loops down here. So all I have is a for loop that makes the turtle go up, and another for loop that makes the turtle come down. That's to sort of be like, oh, he jumped, he went up, and then he came down. So I told you the for loop syntax is for I equals 1, comma, and then how many times you want the loop to do that thing. So here, instead of putting an actual number, I can use the variable height, because that variable is just a name for a value, and the value is the number that I typed in at the terminal, which would be how high I want them to go. So it works out. The reason they're called variables is because the value that they store can change, but we call them by the same name, so they're variable. And that's all it takes to get information from the terminal, is using read and then giving it a name, so you can refer to it later. All right, one more program, and then just to demonstrate something else turtles can do, which is place blocks. So let me give Joe some cobblestone in slot number 1 for this program, and I'm going to tell him to make me a tard tower. There he goes. And that's all there is to it. And he'll stop when he gets up top. Come here, you. And you see, he's finished. He's got the empty line saying, I'm done, what next? So I haven't written a program for him to come back down yet. But that's just to demonstrate that turtles can place blocks in the world. So we've already shown that they can, so if I give him 64, he'll run until he runs out. So actually, I won't do that. Let me show you how this program works. So there's a couple things here. So turtle.select, again, puts his cursor on the first inventory slot, so he'll build the tower out of those blocks. And then while turtle.up is saying, while there's room above my head, I move up, and then turtle.getItemCount1. So turtle.getItemCount1 is checking how many things Joe has in his first inventory slot. So the 1 tells him to look in slot number 1, and then the function getItemCount says, how many things have I got left in slot number 1? And so I say, while that number is greater than 0, which means while I still have stuff here, I'm going to keep doing this. And then do for the syntax again. So while there's room above his head, and he still has stuff in his inventory, he's going to place down. And the various place functions are how you place blocks in the world. So when he places down, he places the block directly beneath him, and then loops over that while it's happening. So I'll give him, let's give him something like, so it doesn't matter if there's stuff elsewhere in the inventory. Let's give him 8 pieces, and then tell him to tower. So he'll place those 8 blocks, and then the program will stop. So each time he moves up, and then puts the block down beneath him. And then when he runs out, that's the end of it. So we check. Yep. Okay, so let me show you why you have to have the moving up inside the loop. Because if he hits a ceiling, you don't want him to try and keep going. Or if you did, you could have him mine the block out of the way or something. Okay, hover mode, please. There we go. So let me just put a block in his way, so when he goes up, he'll hit his head on something and stop. Excuse me, dirt. Didn't mean to invade your space there. Let's put Joe beneath a block, and then we'll give him lots of stuff. So he would try and build 64 if he could. But when I tell him to tard, he goes up. Oh, and he hits his head, and then the program stops. So he's asking, what next? All right, so that's just a simple, whoops. Oh, I lost my GUI there. I hit F1 instead of the W key. That was crazy. Or instead of the 2 key. Yeah, so that's just a quick demonstration of the various things that you can do with turtles. And this is not an in-depth API demonstration of all the functions that turtles can do. I just wanted to give you guys an understanding of how dynamic they are. So all of these different things, moving around, interacting with inventories, placing blocks, mining blocks, and if he had a sword, he could attack things. If he had a hoe, he could be hoeing soil. So these turtles have a great variety of, they have a huge wealth of opportunities and of what you can use them to do. So I think in the next episode, I'm going to hopefully have written and working a program which is a tree farm for small trees, and I will be using for rubber trees. So, and I'll show you basically an outline of how that program will work. So if you're more interested in this sort of thing, you should definitely check out Seleck's channel and look at his 2 videos on mining turtles, as well as his Feed the Beast series, which I said earlier was quite good. And then next time I'm going to see if I can figure it out for myself based on their example. So I think it was him and Unobtainium who wrote that program for the Ultimate Woodchopper. Anyway, I'm rambling now, so thanks for watching. I'll see you next time on Let's Play Minecraft. Feed the Beast. And I am eventually going to decorate in here. We're not just going to have pipes hanging out forever.